Everybody, Dimitri James, Virtual Financial here. Today I want to talk to you about term life insurance with living benefits. Now, in the first video we went over term life insurance. The second video we went over term life insurance versus whole life insurance. So if you're a little bit confused or you need to catch up, feel free to go back to my YouTube channel and catch up on those, okay? All my videos, I try and keep them nice, short and sweet. But today again I want to talk to you about term life insurance with living benefit at no extra cost. So here we go. So today what I want to do is I want to show you an illustration of a term life insurance with living benefits, again at no extra cost, for a male and a female at age 40 with a $100,000 policy. I like using $100,000 simply because it's a nice even number to wrap your head around. And we're going to do the term for 30 years. Remember, 30 years, when it's a term policy, means that the price is going to remain the same for the next 30 years, and the amount that it would pay out should you pass away during that time frame is going to remain the same as well. So again, 40 years old, $100,000, 30-year policy, and we're talking about a term life insurance with living benefits. Now, in these little illustrations, I got a regular term life insurance policy without living benefits illustrated in green, and those with living benefits illustrated in red, so that we can actually compare apples to apples. What you're going to find is that term life insurance with living benefits, it's absolutely new to the market, but what it does is it gives you these benefits at no cost. So oftentimes you can either get you can replace a current policy that you have that's a regular term life insurance policy with a term life insurance policy with living benefits at around the same price, sometimes even lower. So what I did do is I went ahead and got a quote from a competitor to go alongside the one prices with the company that actually does these living benefits. So for a male that's 40 years old, $100,000 policy, 30 years, for a policy quote as of today from a competitor for $44.81, you can get that same policy with living benefits for $34.14. Sounds crazy, I know, but again, this is a new revolutionary product that I want everybody to know, because this is, again, as part of my crusade to spread financial literacy across the United States. And again, I'm going to ask for your help at the end of this video, all right? So, same policy, 40 years old for a woman, $100,000, 30 years. For a term policy without living benefits, you're looking at $37.58 for a term policy with the living benefits included at no extra cost, $28.55. So if you were to compare apples to apples today and get those quotes today, you would actually be saving money along with being able to access those living benefits. So now let's get down to what exactly is living benefits. Living benefits simply means that if you have a chronic, critical, or terminal illness that occurs while you have that policy in effect, you can actually access up to 90% of that policy tax-free from your life insurance policy. So what that would mean is that from your $100,000 policy, if you needed it because you incurred a chronic, critical illness or terminal illness, while you have that policy, you can access up to $90,000 in order to get the kind of treatment or care or to supplement your loss of income because you're out of work sick during that time frame at tax-free. Again, what you would do is take $90,000 out of that policy, or up to $90,000 out of that policy. You're still going to have $10,000 left on that policy that's going to be there as a safeguard in case you pass during that 30-year time frame. That way they want to make sure at least something goes to your beneficiaries, to cover funeral expenses, whatever the case may be, because it's still a life insurance policy. But again, you can access up to 90%, or in this case, up to $90,000 to help you deal with the financial shortfall or the financial needs that you're going to incur when you have either a chronic, critical, or terminal illness. Does that make sense? All right, great. Now let's talk about a chronic illness. In America, 50% of all adults in America will incur a chronic illness of some sort. 25% of people that are in their 40s have at least one chronic illness here in America. 70% of all Americans over age 65 will end up needing long-term care. That's why it's so important to have access to, again, 90% of your life insurance policy that you can use while you're still living to help offset those costs that you may incur, or a shortfall of money that you may suffer because you're unable to work at some point. When it comes to new diagnoses for chronic illnesses, cancer in America, every 30 seconds, someone new is a new diagnosis of cancer, or a new cancer diagnosis occurs. Heart attack, every 34 seconds. When it comes to heart attacks, 90% of all heart attack victims are actually living beyond or still living, surviving their heart attack diagnoses. When it comes to a stroke, every 40 seconds in America, someone is being diagnosed with a stroke. So can you see why we're on this crusade and why living benefits are so critical? Again, if you have a term life insurance policy, it doesn't cost you anything to find out if we can actually switch you or upgrade you from here to here, or from here to here. Again, if you got it 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, now the price today may be a little bit different than your price 5, 10, 15 years ago. But again, let's at least figure out what that looks like, because again, what we're trying to do is make sure you have access to 90% of that life insurance policy in the event that you suffer, unfortunately, one of these types of illnesses. And again, we're going off of statistics here, and so we just want to make sure that we can protect ourselves. After all, that's what insurance is all about, all right? Another thing I want to show is that when it comes to a nursing home, the cost of a nursing home in the United States averages about $74,000 a year. It's not cheap. If you know anybody that's ever suffered from a chronic illness, whether it's a heart attack, a stroke, or cancer, you understand that the bills and the costs just to kind of take care of things rack up pretty quickly, all right? The cost of a heart attack over the duration of just trying to treat that and live with that average about $1 million. Most people don't have $1 million just sitting around in the bank account. I don't have $1 million sitting around in my bank account that's not being used. I mean, this is serious stuff, folks, and so this is why this crusade is so important, and why, again, at the end of this video, I'm going to ask for your help. When it comes to the cost of critical illness or chronic illness, over 60% of people that undergo a chronic illness or a critical illness end up going into bankruptcy because of the medical costs. 80% of those people that end up going into bankruptcy because of the medical costs that they incurred due to a chronic illness actually had health insurance. So I know that you have health insurance, and that's great, but we don't want you to have to rely strictly on health insurance if you can have access to this money, again, that's going to be tax-free. Also, when people end up being sick or disabled, if they're not able to work, within 3 months, most Americans cannot afford to pay their bills. Again, this is where having access to that 90% of your life insurance policy is going to come in so handy. Again, you can use that money, access that money tax-free in order to help you get through those tough periods due to chronic illness or critical illness. All right. Another thing that we want to talk about as you're getting into your latter years, Medicare. While Medicare is still there, it's estimated that the Medicare funds will actually be depleted right around 2026. So people like myself, especially those of you who are younger, are really not going to be able to kind of depend on Medicare being there the way that it is today. So again, all we're trying to do is put ourselves in a better position. We're trying to predict against anything that's unpredictable. So that's why it's so important to have term life insurance with living benefits if you can still qualify. So what I want you to do, as always, go to my appointment calendar, go.oneshub.com/Dimitri James. Set an appointment with me. Let's just sit down and talk about it. Let's compare apples to apples. It doesn't cost you anything to have a conversation with me. Again, this is part of my crusade. Now, remember, I told you I was going to ask you for your help. Well, I'm only one person, and I can't reach everybody. And so on this crusade, I'm going to ask you to join me. For joining me, I'm going to offer to compensate you as well. Now, if you look up here, it says that we're now hiring, and we are. So if you're good at social media, you have any background in social media, meaning if you love being on Facebook, on Snapchat, on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever social media platform you love hanging out on, we could use your help spreading the word to your audience and to your followers. Now, for every person that we can help that you send our way, we would like to compensate you And on average, that compensation ends up being about $585 for each person that we are able to help. Now with that compensation can continue to show up every year on the anniversary date of the date that we actually help that person for the next 10 years. Do you understand that helping us help one person, we can compensate you and your family $5,850? Again, it's going to show up in increments of $585, but that would happen every year on the anniversary date. Again, we could use your help. It's a great crusade. Even if you're not into the crusade and you just like to earn some extra income, this is a great opportunity for you. Again, we could use all the help. Any help that you can offer, we could use it. For more information on our crusade and our products, please visit my website, DimitriJames.com. For more information on our roles and positions, please visit DimitriJames.agency. For you entrepreneurs or you guys that are wanting to be self-employed, or for you all that just want to work at home, please visit my website, DimitriJames.biz. And again, if you just want to cut to the chase and talk to me one-on-one, go to my appointment calendar. Book yourself for me. go.oncehub.com/DimitriJames. Again, that's go.oncehub.com/DimitriJames. This is perfect if you are in the career of recruiting, marketing, real estate, insurance, and sales. Again, a lot of my partners still do their own jobs. They still have their own careers. They love what they do. But again, because of their social media following, because of their audience, it's a natural fit for them. They really don't have to do much. And again, we get a chance to compensate them very well. We want to compensate you very well for helping us with this crusade. Again, my name is Dimitri James. I really appreciate your help. I hope all of this is making sense. Please subscribe to my YouTube, share it, like it, do whatever you do on your social media platform. We really appreciate it. And God bless.